All right, guys, how are you?
Dave, dude, tell me more about that shirt that you wore last week.
Oh, this one?
Yeah,
Dude, so like I know it's in reverse. I don't think you can see it, but it's a heavy metal inspired D&D shirt. So you got the Master of Dungeons, critical hits.
Oh my god!
It's got the Ranger. It's got the fucking
Oh my God.
Sorcerer. All the band name like styles, but
Oh my
characters in D&D. The two things that I love the most, besides you guys,
All right.
of course.
All right, guys, and I guess we've successfully cleated another podcast. Let's get out.
We've cleated it.
We cleated it. Yeah,
That's actually really appropriate here.
that's apropos, as they would say this week.
Why is that apropos, Josh?
Andy Dalton got cleated.
Oh, because we're doing a follow up here on our NFL bracket from the beginning of the season.
Yep.
Where we're going to literally suck our own dicks
A little bit.
About how good we did picking the playoff teams. We're going to lick our wounds about two of the teams that we picked that ended up sucking dick.
Both of our teams, by the way.
Yeah.
Really representing the great state of Texas well.
Yeah. And then we're going to redo this bracket and see if we still think the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to win the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Spoiler alert, I don't think so.
You got yearly awards as well.
We're going to do yearly awards, talk about coaches fired. Just a quick NFL season recap.
A quick hour and a half. A speedy hour and a half.
That's
Maybe.
right.
Yep. Who's doing this intro?
The human fossil.
All right. Hit us with that. Hit us with that juicy intro. I'm gonna hit you with this right here.
All right. Hello, and welcome to Three Guys and a Mic presents the 2020 NFL season review and playoff bracket.
Oh, shit.
You fucked up. You fucked that up.
Oh, that was so bad. Did you even write that down, Fossil?
No.
You just literally said it's the NFL Stevenson? Like, dude, I don't know what that was. All right, try that again. Try that again. I won't fuck with you this time.
All right.
I don't even think you can see our video.
Yeah, I can see y'all. Every time y'all talk, y'all end up on my screen.
Can you please be professional? We're live. We're live to no one on YouTube, okay?
Oh, shit.
This is why I make you guys do the open.
Look, I have access to the analytics. The average viewer only gets about 7 to 8 minutes into our YouTube videos. Thanks for watching, by the way. So they get about this far and they're like, nah. So
you guys are sorry.
Yeah, these guys suck. So Jason, while we still have our audience, because the window is closing, do this intro.
All right, I'm ready. Damn it. All right, here we go. I hate you, Dave. Hello. We should.
God.
We should totally pre-record this shit. Oh my god,
dude, stop! You're giving me the giggles. I'm not even gonna be able to recover.
I can't see. All right, here we go. I'm ready to stop. Jesus, help me.
Oh my god,
Jason, just mute it. I'll go.
No, I get it. I got it. Here we go. Hello, and welcome to Three Guys and a Mic presents the 2020 NFL season review and playoff bracket. I'm your co-host, Jason Tsunami, along with What the fuck are you doing?
You said that so fast. Along with David Disaster.
And the human dart.
Welcome. That's it.
Man.
That's the take.
Oh, we did it. God.
I am
That is why I do not do the open.
Old five take Jason.
YouTube crowd, I'm sorry. Audio podcast crowd, you have no idea what just happened.
Oh man. Oh God, you know what's not funny?
The Houston Texans season record.
God, the Houston goddamn Texans. We suck.
But you know what?
Oh,
We at least we sucked bad enough to where we didn't even have a shot at getting into the playoffs. Unlike the second best,
Cowboys.
the second best team in
Cowboys.
Texas.
Yeah.
Man,
They almost made it.
The
6 wins.
dude, the Red Rocket almost got you there.
Yeah, the Ginger General.
Jeez,
Almost.
y'all had 5 wins or 6?
Do what?
5 wins or 6? Y'all had 5 or 6?
I don't know.
Okay, you don't even care. You don't even watch these games.
I do. I don't care. Like,
Cowboys finished with 6 wins.
and thanks to Eagles. Yeah, thanks to the Eagles for throwing that game at the end. I mean, it wouldn't have mattered because we lost to the Giants, but just gives me another reason to hate the Eagles.
Yeah.
Fuck those guys.
But hey, that's all good. But we're not going to talk about those teams anymore because they ain't shit.
Nope.
They didn't make it to the motherfucking playoffs, okay? But
Well-
there are 14 teams that did make the playoffs, and we predicted 11 of them.
That's
at the beginning of the season.
That's pretty fucking good, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Give it up. Give it up.
Yeah, if I had a camera, you could see my patting myself on the back.
Yep. Hey, ESPN, NFL Network, Fox Sports, 3 guys and a mic. We're here. We're ready for a 4 o'clock afternoon show.
yeah, we
Absolutely.
yep, absolutely. We well, yeah, I'll accept a paycheck from ESPN.
Yeah, we'll talk about football twice a year, and then we'll do fucking candy bar brackets.
That's
Yeah.
right. You want to know what the best candy bar is? We got that for you.
Butterfinger.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
It is.
Are you ready to start this?
Yeah, man. So
All right,
are you gonna recap? We're gonna recap what we predicted.
We're gonna recap.
Recap
Yeah,
it.
we're gonna recap. Yeah,
Yep.
a little bit.
Let's do it.
Okay, so the regular season is over. It's full of ups and downs, twists and turns.
Mostly downs.
And like we were just saying, I have to say that we were pretty goddamn awesome on some of the forecasts on our football bracket before the season started. For any of the listeners, if you haven't heard, you can do yourself a favor and go back and check it out. It's episode number 59. And I believe our Super Bowl matchup was Seattle versus Pittsburgh.
Yep.
And
with
but
Pittsburgh upset KC.
aren't both of those teams in the playoffs?
Absolutely.
And pretty both of them put pretty both of them put up
Yeah.
pretty good records.
Yes, they
Yes.
did.
Now, we had Pittsburgh upsetting KC in the AFC Championship game. And we had Seattle beating Dallas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's incorrect.
that part's not going to happen. But then
Look, that's
Seattle
not
beat
guaranteed to
Pittsburgh.
go wrong.
Yes, and then Seattle over Pittsburgh in the Super Bowl.
I thought we had Pittsburgh winning the Super Bowl, did we not?
No, the glass slipper broke.
Ah, okay. I feel better about that.
So, it's been right before we get into awards and the actual new bracket, which is going to be the correct seeding for the playoffs. Now, we did have both of our teams, and I just wanted to spend a few minutes discussing what we think ultimately went wrong with 2 of the teams that I think we missed on the most.
Which is our own.
Texans, yeah, and the Dallas Cowboys. Now, we don't have to go on a big diatribe and deep dive, but if you had to pinpoint what you felt was the the downfall of the Texans seasons, what do you guys got?
I mean, I think the obvious answer is Bill O'Brien.
Yep.
I felt like Bill O'Brien, the executive. Look, he traded D-Hop. That's no fun. I think we're going to see in the next couple of years if he was right, because I think he's playing the long game on that one. Do we want to continue to pay a wide receiver who's going to be 30 in a couple of years, upwards of quarterback, low-end quarterback money? So that the jury is still out on that. I mean, obviously, year one, D-Hop, third highest receiver in the league as far as yards go. So that doesn't look good for us. But at the end of the day, he's still sitting at home watching the playoffs the same way we are.
Yeah, I mean, my one little thing on that is I wasn't upset about the D-Hop trade. I was upset about the return.
Yeah.
It gave me the impression and a bad taste in my mouth that, especially obviously hindsight being what it is, that ultimately he was just trying to get out of D-Hop's contract. He's trying to get him off the team for one reason or another, right? It seems like, we should have been able to get at least a little, like a decent enough more than what we got. Like,
yeah,
there's no way we couldn't have got more. I feel like Bill O'Brien probably took the first deal that, or Bill O'Brien just completely overvalued David Johnson, which is a possibility.
Yeah. I think the other thing that was really bad for our season was just the first 4 games. Specifically the first 3. Like, at the end of the day, we should have won the game against the Vikings in week 4. But, I mean, starting off with Chiefs, Ravens, Steelers.
Who are all in the playoffs.
And they're all doing well. They're all in the playoffs. Like, dude, that's a tough way to start the season. The NFL didn't do us any favors there. And then losing that Vikings game, obviously that proved to be the end of Bill O'Brien after that. So that, I think from a schedule standpoint, I think it just kind of snowballed, right? I mean, I think if we start off with
2-2,
if we start off with Jacksonville in there and maybe trying to think who else we played this year that we beat, but if we go 2-2 or even 1-3, even if we win that Vikings game, I think Bill O'Brien maybe gets a few more weeks out of that, or maybe they put it together. Who knows, right?
I do have a quick thought that I'll present to you guys. Do you think if this had been, say, a normal offseason, erase COVID from the landscape, and you give Watson the full allotted time to acclimate to just having his receivers minus DeAndre Hopkins, do you think he hits his stride earlier, saving maybe the season and Bill O'Brien's job?
Sure. It's possible, but at the same time, Deshaun Watson did more than enough this season for us to get into the playoffs. Even with starting at 0-4, like we were in the we finished. We lost 8 of our losses came by way of an average of just over 5 points per game for those 8 losses. 4 of which we lost on the very last drive of the game, right? So that, I mean, obviously if those 8 games go our way, then we're 12-4 instead of 4-12, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, even if you say 6 of them go our way, we're 10-6. I don't know how the math would work out if we get in or not, but
well, you'd be right there with the Dolphins. You'd be a bubble team.
Yeah. So I mean, a lot of people look at the Texans like, okay, well, we would have had the 3rd pick in the draft if we wouldn't have given it to the Dolphins. So I mean, like, a lot of our record makes us seem like we're a terrible team, but I don't think if you actually look at the stats, I don't think we're as far away as a lot of people seem, because Watson's game elevated so much this season. I mean, he really made. I mean, if you look at the receivers he was throwing to for the majority of the season, especially the later half, which was when he was playing his best. I mean, Chad Hansen, who I actually would like on the team. I think he's actually a gem. But I mean, we didn't have Will Fuller outside of the first 6 or 7 games. Or I think he got like a 6-game suspension or something.
He's on the juice, baby.
And Brian Cushion, man, he's giving him the bad advice. So, I mean, we didn't have Brandon Cooks for every game in the latter half. Watson pretty much had no clear number one for half the season at least. And he's played the best football of his career as an NFL, right?
He's elevated to that position now where it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who's out there. Like, this dude's going to put up numbers. He's going to lead the team down the field. And if, Houston's defense is just marginally better this year, it's a different conversation.
Yeah.
I truly believe that Watson is on the cusp of being an elite quarterback.
I mean, look, if we win 9 games, 10 games this year, he's in the conversation for MVP. Like, right now, like, he gets honorable mention for, like, hey, dude, great season. But there's no real consideration of MVP for him. But if we win like 9-10 games, I think it's his to lose.
Yep.
Yeah,
I mean,
especially if he puts up these stats next year and the Texans are a playoff team, and absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, like Josh said, I mean, we are probably a bottom 5, bottom 3 defense in the league this year. If we're just 15 next year, and Watson plays exactly the same, I mean, we're getting in the playoffs, 100%. Like, the defense,
we're also playing a much easier schedule next year.
The defense didn't even need to be that much better this year, which is insane. Because even like I pointed out, I mean, we were down by less than a touchdown in 8 of our losses. So I mean, it's like if the defense would have just made one more third down stop every game, that might have been enough, honestly, which is crazy.
Jason.
Yep.
Tell us about the Cowboys.
How much are you guys paying Zeke Elliott again?
I don't know. I think it's in the realm of franchise running back style money.
Like so like $10,000. Like, is it like $10,000 a carry? Because that's how they play him. Are they paying him by the carry?
They'd be saving money if they did.
Yeah.
The Cowboys.
We projected the Cowboys to go to the NFC Championship game at the beginning of the year.
I wanted them to go to the Super Bowl. I remember.
We at least had the Texans losing to Baltimore in the first round, so we didn't embarrass ourselves too bad.
Yeah, I had to argue to stop you guys from advancing them.
We were very close to putting them past Seattle. I remember, or I was fighting hard.
Okay. This was a 6-year, $90 million contract for Zeke, by the way. So just to fuel your fire as you talk about it.
Absolute waste of money if you're the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys this season, you couldn't have asked for a worse set of injuries across your offensive line. They lost every offensive lineman at least once this season. Okay, and you know what? That's tough. But teams have to deal with injuries. But the problem, that really wasn't even the problem. The problem is the same problem they've had for the last 15 years. They're the exact same team, no matter who the coach is.
You don't like Mike McCarthy?
Think you can throw the ball 40 times a game. No, I don't. I'll get to him in just a second. If you think you can throw the ball 40 times a game and go deep in the playoffs, you're ignorant. And
Kansas City Chiefs.
Huh?
Kansas City Chiefs.
No, they run the ball way more than you think. The issue is if you pay a franchise back, to Josh's point, to get 17 or 18 carries a game. That's embarrassing.
Did he even? He didn't even break 1,000 yards.
I don't think he did.
No.
And that's a shame. It's just absolutely a shame. The last game of the season, I was texting you guys, he had 11 carries after the first drive of the third quarter to pull within 5 points in a play-in game. And he got 3 carries for the rest of the game. But again, injuries on the offensive line, and I thought the hiring of McCarthy was crap, and I'll continue to say that. But I will say this: if there was anything that I thought McCarthy would do, would be to rein in Noodle Armour, our offensive coordinator, and tell him, listen, I want to feature the running game, and then you can throw it as much as you want to. But I want every defense we face to think that we're going to run the ball. And if you can't do that as the head coach, you shouldn't be the head coach. And if you're not going to give your power running game and treat him like a Derrick Henry, then don't have him on the team. Like, I would rather trade a bit the scheme, and then you go throw it 40 times a game and finish 8-8 every year.
Shit, you ain't trading that contract, bro.
Somebody would take it. Somebody would take it and give him 25 carries a game like they do Derrick Henry, and they would go to the playoffs.
I mean, what kind of teams have that kind of fucking cap space?
Oh, I mean, somebody could make it happen.
Oh, we'll see.
I mean, the Jaguars.
Yeah, I mean, look, the definitely the bad luck for the season was losing Dak, because Dak, in the first 3-4 games, I mean, he was off to an all-world start.
He still has more touchdown passes than Daniel Jones.
Yeah, and they were still
which is
only
true.
With one victory,
as far as I know.
Yeah, he only had one victory though. So I mean, again, that just speaks to my point. He was in a close game in which they were asking him to throw it like 45 times until he broke his leg.
Yeah.
If you go back the last 15 years, the very best seasons that the Cowboys ever had in the last 15 years, the running back averaged over 20 carries a game. That goes all the way to before Ezekiel Elliott. And that's what happened with the Cowboys and the Texans.
I thought Zeke was the best running back in Cowboys history.
No.
What?
No. It would still be
Tony,
Emmitt Smith.
Tony Dorsett.
Yeah.
Herschel Walker.
Herschel Walker is still even better than Ezekiel Elliott.
Hey man, you got to have Herschel in there just because he gave you the Super Bowls in the 90s.
Exactly. He gave you all the Super Bowls in the 90s.
Yep. But hey man, our teams suck. So
that's the last we'll talk about them.
As we say every year in Houston, maybe next year. But we do have some quick NFL end of season award conversations to have here. So
absolutely,
we know these haven't been announced just yet. But I mean, we know the potential people in here. So let's start with
since we were so good with the season predictions to begin with, we might as well just call out all the awards too.
We starting it with MVP.
We can start with MVP, sure. So I would say your top 3 candidates got to be Aaron Rodgers, Pat Mahomes, and I'd throw Derrick Henry in there.
I would also throw in Josh Allen.
I was going to say Josh Allen.
Yeah, he deserves to be in the conversation for sure. And then obviously, there's some honorable mention folks that we don't have to throw in there, but we mentioned Deshaun earlier, assuming the record was right. But
so look, I'll go first real quick. I'm just going to say, as far as what I'm putting my name on, I think it's going to be Aaron Rodgers. If you just look at the stats, look at their record. I mean, the dude was ridiculous. I think he threw for like 48 touchdowns or something stupid this year.
Yeah, with only 5 interceptions.
Yeah, 48 touchdowns. And at the beginning of the season, this guy was like, he was just to give you an idea, not the fantasy football is anything or everything. He was the very last player taken by me, by the way, in one of the drafts. In one of the drafts I was in, I was like, "How is Aaron Rodgers still sitting here?"
Yeah.
So nobody in the world thought that he was about to put up the season that he just did. So
except one guy that I know of.
Who's that? The
They'd
Fossil?
have to be on a podcast that I listened to that said he's going to go out there and have a ridiculous season to give the middle finger to ownership in Green Bay for drafting the backup QB.
Jordan Love.
Yep.
Hey, man, dude had a hell of a season. I almost worry, like, are we overthinking it? Because Pat Mahomes had a monster season too, but I really do think that Aaron Rodgers just had a better season. But let's talk about Derrick Henry for a second. Yep. I mean, the quietest 2,000-yard season of all time.
Ever.
Yep. Because I don't think anybody really necessarily thought he was like gonna get it, because he still needed like 223.
But they was playing against Houston, so.
But he's playing against the old Olay defense. And we.
Hey, Dave, what's the Olay defense?
Yeah.
I can't do it on command like that, but
yeah, dude, we just like letting Derrick Henry just run all over us. Man, dude, 2,000 yards rushing. I think it was 17 touchdowns.
It was stupid. I think he averaged like 5.5 yards a carry or something ridiculous like that.
I mean, look, that guy drove the Tennessee Titans to the AFC South Championship for the first time since 2008. Gag. That hurts my heart. And
Tannehill at QB.
With Tannehill at QB. And that's the first time they swept the Houston Texans in a season since 2007. So that hurts a little bit. I'll tell you what, though. I mean, look, Derrick Henry's a monster, but I would like to say that I was right about A.J. Brown when he got drafted, because I was super sad we passed him up in the draft. And I was super scared to death when I saw Tennessee took him, because I thought that dude was going to be an absolute animal in the pros, and so far he has been.
Yeah,
but,
so
I would go Aaron Rodgers for MVP as well.
Yeah, I go Aaron Rodgers. My dark horse would be Josh Allen, but I think he also had a quietly really good season. I just think Aaron Rodgers, you just look at the stats and like Aaron Rodgers has just got, I mean, MVP is somewhat of a popularity contest realistically. So, I mean, I just think Aaron Rodgers made a lot more noise. And so I think he's going to get it. But
I had in my three Josh Allen, Derrick Henry, and Aaron Rodgers. And the most valuable to their team, in my opinion, is Aaron Rodgers. And I say that because, yes, you can stop Derrick Henry. Nobody really has, though. Buffalo and Josh Allen, I feel like it's still a little bit of a show me. But, man, there are games that you watch in which Aaron Rodgers by himself just decimates teams, like by himself. And Aaron Rodgers, in my opinion, is going to be the MVP.
Yeah.
What do we got next?
Let's talk about Offensive Player of the Year.
I think this is an easy Derrick Henry.
Is it easy?
In my opinion.
Well, so I think the conversation revolves around a few folks, right? I mean, if we want to take quarterbacks out of it, right?
That's
again, I mean, if you leave quarterbacks in there, I mean, again, Aaron Rodgers has got to be part of the conversation. 48 touchdowns. I mean, that's pretty robust.
Well, see, I feel like the MVP is more like the quarterback of the year award. I almost wish they would just change it to that. Like, seriously. Like, just have a dedicated quarterback award and then have the offensive be like an offensive, skill player of the year. I don't know. I mean, however you want to fucking word it, but like, if Aaron Rodgers wins MVP, I don't think we can also give him offensive player. Like, that's boring, in my opinion.
I don't know, because I have a different offensive player of the year.
I would like to talk about Alvin Kamara for a minute.
Okay.
All right. That's a good choice.
Alvin Kamara had 16 rushing touchdowns, 5 receiving touchdowns, 600 yards receiving, somewhere in that ballpark, and just under 1,000 yards rushing. I mean, a total of 1,600 yards from scrimmage with 21 touchdowns. That's pretty robust.
Yeah. So who are we going to go with? Like,
I mean, look,
I still have...
My vote is Derrick Henry because, as we, not repeating everything you just said, I mean, I think about not trying to compare it to the MVP award, but I look at it like literally the offense was Derrick Henry. I mean, he was the entire fucking offense for the Tennessee Titans. If he would have gotten injured or gotten COVID or whatever or gotten suspended and they'd have had to, bring out whoever the fuck his backup is, they would have the season is over. Like if he's injured, it's done. They could have Ryan
Tannehill becomes Miami Dolphins Tannehill as soon as you tell him, "Hey, I need you to go win all these games."
Yeah. Whereas Alvin Kamara, yes, is a fucking beast, but he still had Breeze for much of the season.
Even after he broke.
But I mean, but this is like noodle arm Breeze though. I mean, look.
Hey, look, noodle arm Peyton Manning still won a Super Bowl.
He did. I mean, look, Derrick Henry was very impressive. One-dimensional, 2,000 rush yards, only 119 receiving yards. So they aren't throwing him the ball very much, but he also ran the ball for 2,000 yards, which is impressive.
I think he did like 500-something attempts. I don't know, a stupid amount.
I think we'd be remiss if we didn't mention a couple of other receivers as well on the season. Devontae Adams for Green Bay.
Yeah.
I mean, look, Aaron Rodgers threw 48 touchdown passes. Somebody had to catch those motherfuckers.
Yeah,
right?
Devontae Adams was a fucking beast.
He caught 18 touchdowns this year for 1,300 yards and 115 receptions. And then Stephon Diggs also had a huge season. He had 1,500 plus yards. He actually led the league in yardage this year. Hold on, let me get
Buffalo.
127 receptions, 1,535 yards, only 8 touchdowns. So that's a little less there. But, yeah, but you can't. But Andre Johnson, I don't think Stephon Diggs dropped any. I don't think he dropped any passes.
Come on.
But you can't argue what that guy did for the Buffalo Bills this year.
I am going to throw my name out there, and the only reason why I'm throwing it out there is because he did something that nobody else has ever done, and that's rush for back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons as a quarterback.
You're going to put Lamar?
Yeah.
Oh, Lamar sucks.
Dude threw for 2,800 passing yards, 26 touchdowns, 9 picks, and over 1,000 yards rushing.
I will say at the beginning of the year, Lamar was not very good.
Yeah.
Now, this will come up later, I'm sure. The last few games, it's been looking really good over there. But
yeah.
I mean, the dude is electric with the ball in his hands.
Yeah. I think I would have to agree with Dave. Like, I think 2,000 yards, only the 6th guy to do it. Like, I just.
And it was quiet.
Yeah. You can't pass that up.
Yeah. Look, my vote is for Derrick Henry. He did not have a single game that everybody took notice of, because if you go back to Barry Sanders or was it Chris Johnson or anybody else that's ever gone for 2,000 yards, they always had that one game where they rushed for an incredible amount, and everybody's like, "Hey, this guy could run for 2,000 yards this season." That wasn't Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry is a machine. Like, he ran for 200 yards a game.
I feel like Jason looks at the Tennessee Titans offense and he's like, why don't the Cowboys have this fucking offense?
Look, I don't. Okay, to a point, yes. I would love to have our passing game and their running game, because you tell me how wide open would those receivers in Dallas be?
Oh God! On play action, there'd be nobody within 10 yards of them.
Yeah. But hey, okay, let's
that's next one. The defensive player of the year.
All right, so I think there's 3 people in this conversation. I think you got T.J. Watt, Aaron Donald, and then I would say Xavier Howard from Miami.
Yep.
I'm biased. I was looking at that. I think T.J. Watt is the sack leader, which I know it doesn't automatically give you defensive player of the year, but I know that is often some type of a benchmark that they look at. Aaron Donald's won it twice. Do I think he's deserving of a three-peat based on this season's performance? Not saying he hasn't been great. I think T.J. Watt has been more disruptive overall, and I would give him the nod for me personally.
Yeah, I agree. I think in most cases, I mean, last year a DB won it, so it's not outside the realm of possibility. But I think TJ Watt had a good enough season on the defensive line, led the league in sacks, had a good number of tackles with 43 tackles. Oh, what happened? Did I bounce out of there, or who left?
No, somebody else left.
It was Craig.
Oh, it was Craig. Oh, sorry. With 43 tackles, and he actually had an interception as well. So I think he was very disruptive. Clearly runs in the blood, of the Watts, but I don't think we can sleep on the fact that Xavier Howard had 10 interceptions for the Miami Dolphins this year. That was impressive. And he had some Odell Beckham like interceptions.
Yeah, he helped. He really did elevate the Miami Dolphins defense, pass defense.
Yep.
Up until the last game of the season.
Yeah, but I think look, TJ Watt got second place in Defensive Player of the Year last year, and you could argue he should have been the Defensive Player of the Year. I think there might be a little Aaron Donald fatigue for that award right now, and I think TJ Watt did a good enough job to get there.
Absolutely, he's my vote as well. Defensive Player of the Year, TJ Watt.
Yep. All right,
Dave, yours?
I voted TJ Watt.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Sweet shit. We're cracking here.
Yeah, Dave, you good over there?
No, I'm having to fix the video stream because Craig bounced. It changes how the cameras look. So,
do we need a second?
Nah, we're good.
Okay.
So, Coach of the Year.
This is a good one.
I think there's some good conversation here. I mean, look, you can look at a couple of. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, I'll throw a couple of names out there. Brian Flores at Miami.
Yep.
And Stefanski.
Yep.
With Cleveland.
Stefanski. Yeah.
It has an N in there, though.
It's
Stefanski.
Stefanski.
Silent N?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. I think those are like the two no-brainer obvious ones, right? But yep. I think there's some interesting coaching performances this year, like people having to coach through adversity, right? Like Ron Rivera as an option for the Washington football team, having to coach through the whole name change, through all his quarterbacks being fucking garbage.
Absolutely.
Going through the whole Dan Snyder
fiasco before the offseason.
Yeah, just like the whole organization is just a shithole, right?
And they still made the playoffs.
And he still navigated that team to the motherfucking playoffs, dude. That's a pretty impressive coaching performance.
Yep.
I think Joe Judge in New York, I mean, one game away from the playoffs. I mean, I know these are NFC East teams, so I mean that's already means they're shit, but I think he did some good things in New York. No. Yeah.
You're right.
So I think you got to go with the guy who got the Browns to the playoffs for the first time since 2002 and made Baker look like a real quarterback. I think you got to go with Kevin Stefanski.
Man, we are all like, well, at least me and Josh, because I don't know what Jason's going to say, but I was 100% going to go with Kevin Stefanski. Now, Stefanski got motherfucking COVID, so like I almost didn't give him the nod because he may not even be coaching in this playoff game.
So you both went with the Browns.
I did.
And what you're talking about right now is the reason why I changed my pick. Brian Flores in Miami.
Look, this is a regular season award, bro.
I agree. And you've done shit all with trying to get COVID under wraps in Cleveland. This is like the 6th time this season that they've had to close the doors in Cleveland because of this COVID outbreak stuff.
Look, man, this guy got the Cleveland Browns to the playoffs.
And I agree.
Without Odell Beckham, by the way.
If we would have done, that's because he's overrated. If we would have done this podcast on Monday, I would have said Cleveland Browns coach Stefanski. Stefanski.
But instead you're going Flores?
After all of this outbreak here the last couple of days, I'm going to go with Brian Flores because I feel like there's no coach in the NFL that did more with less than Brian Flores. Mm-hmm.
I got 2 words for you, bro.
Yeah.
Fitz magic.
No, Fitz tragic.
Nah, dog. They were going back to Fitzpatrick at the end of the season because Tua is hot dog shit. Go look at all the motherfucking.
He's not hot dog shit yet.
Go look.
Look.
Go look at the mock drafts right now because one thing I'm tired of fucking seeing is the Dolphins with the 3rd pick. Parentheses via Houston. We know, okay? We fucking know we traded you the goddamn 3rd pick, and we're all sick of it, okay? But go look at all these mock drafts and tell me who they're drafting right now because they're all projected to be quarterbacks.
That's so stupid. Those guys are dumb.
Or they're gonna fucking trade Tua because you could probably still get something for him.
They're not trading Tua. There's nothing wrong with Tua. This is a rookie season.
Hey, I got 2 words for you. Josh Rosen.
Oh God. Josh Rosen was not very good as a first round pick anyway.
Hey, look, the way these rookie contracts are, you can afford to draft one year, get rid of that motherfucker the next year.
Look, here's the thing. This is a quarterback-rich draft, and they hold a 3rd pick that they really have no business having. Why wouldn't you take a flyer on a quarterback?
The flyers are what you take with the 3rd pick. You don't ever take a flyer.
When I say flyer, I don't mean like, oh, this quarterback is probably not going to be good. Like,
no, you take the best player available.
What if that's a quarterback
position?
Yeah,
they're going to pick the Heisman Trophy winner, the kid Smith, the receiver.
We should
legit on the outside.
We'll see.
Probably not at 3 though.
We'll see. Let's move. We got to move this thing along.
All right. Rookie of the year.
I think this is easy as shit for me.
There's 2 choices. It's Justin Herbert or Justin Jefferson.
It's Herbert all the way for me.
I would go Justin Jefferson.
So would I.
But y'all are stupid as fuck.
Justin Herbert put up crazy numbers: 4,300 yards, 31 touchdowns, 10 picks. He rushed for 230 yards.
Yep.
And 5 touchdowns, and led them to nothing. And their head coach got fired.
That's not his fault, though.
I think it is.
Is it though?
I think it is because I think they see that and they're like, "This guy's too good. Get rid of Anthony Lynn and let's find somebody to develop this motherfucker." I think if he was shit, they'd say, "We'll give Anthony Lynn another chance."
Okay. What my point is,
I know.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I know.
Justin Herbert is a quarterbacks. I mean, how often do quarterbacks come out their first season and look that fucking good?
More and more, actually.
More recently, yes.
Historically.
Yeah.
But historically, rookie quarterbacks don't start.
But
historically,
rookie wide receivers are typically shit in their first year.
Absolutely. And there's a learning curve. They're not used to the speed. They don't understand the offense. They don't know how to read defense. And I'm not going to lie, dude. I didn't think that Justin Jefferson was going to come in here. He got 88 catches for 1,400 yards.
He was the highest rated receiver this year.
With Kirk Cousins as his quarterback.
It's the rare situation where everybody does that trade again. Like Buffalo happily gives up the 1st round pick to get Diggs, and Minnesota happily gives up Diggs because they get a guy, Justin Jefferson, that makes like 1/10 of what Diggs makes in a year. Like, dude, everybody wins that trade.
I feel like the NFL or whoever's in charge is going to go with Herbert, but if it was me, I would go with Justin Jefferson.
So are we doing? That's the question, because I've been making these picks based on what I think is going to get the award.
I think Justin Jefferson is going to get it. I personally think that.
I do. I as well.
Okay.
Probably not.
but he's not. But he's not confident.
But if Herbert got it, I'm not gonna look at that and be like, that's stupid. Like,
look, that's fine.
It makes sense, but
that's fine. I we'll just go with that. I'm betting on Herbert.
Our last two awards are not going to be given out to anybody but us.
Yeah.
So we have our most disappointing player of the year award.
Disappointing player?
Yep.
Let's
Josh, you got it?
let's do disappointing team and then come back to player.
Okay. Oh my God, where do we start?
For me, it's
Team.
it's the
It's
Houston Texans. Yes. I no. And in all seriousness, it's not even because we're like homers. I think we legitimately are one of the most disappointing teams because a lot of people thought that we were playoff bound. We had a 24-0 lead over the Super Bowl champs and blew that. And basically from that moment forward, our team was fucking dog shit.
And on paper, it looked like the only thing that you did was get away from having your one primary target and do wide receiver by committee.
Yeah. Other than that, on paper, we were still supposed to go 10-6, 11-5, and be right back in the playoffs. Like, no problem. We go 0-4, lose our head coach, and then proceed to go 4-12 with no first or second round pick. And so, yeah, I think that qualifies as an absolute fucking disappointment. Like the Jags, the Jags went 1-15, but
nobody projected them to do anything this year.
No. Plus, hey, look, they're gonna get fucking Trevor Lawrence, so I wouldn't call that as a disappointment. Actually,
that's a lose-win situation.
We got to deal with that for the next 15 years.
They got rid of their garbage ass coach in Doug Marrone. They get Trevor Lawrence, and they have a very attractive head coaching vacancy, in my opinion. So, props to them, and they're in our division. Yay! So,
Fossil. Do you have a different choice?
The only other team that I would even mention is the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah,
and just the shit show that they. I don't know how a team
happened fast, didn't it?
Just a few years ago. Yeah, man, they. It is not like they just lucked into a Super Bowl victory. Like they were sky high, like just pun intended, like on a roll.
Yeah,
and it just went like crashing and burning into nothing. And now you're looking at going into next season with neither of the quarterbacks that were on your roster when you won the Super Bowl.
Don't you know, like Bill Belichick and Brady look at that Super Bowl and think, fuck.
How did we do that?
Look how bad these fuckers are 2 years later. How the fuck did they beat us?
Yeah.
That's a good transition into my most disappointing player, and that's going to be Carson Wentz. I mean, look.
It's a good choice.
Carson Wentz, right? You know, the season that they won the Super Bowl, he was playing good. He was playing very good. I believe that was his rookie year.
Second
year. Okay. He was playing very good. He got injured right at the end of the season. Big Dick Nick
comes in, baby.
Well, let's slow his roll just for a second.
Because Nick's first game against the Cowboys
was not good at all. Was not good. And then,
hey, you know what? Anybody remember that? Nah.
No.
Well, they remember him catching the Philly special.
And then look, baby. And then the first game of the playoffs, they did win, but Big Dick Nick did not look excellent, if I remember correctly. I think it wasn't until their next game, and from that moment forward, that motherfucker got him a ring. Now, moving.
Hey, Dave.
What?
You ever heard of Vin Diesel? Because it doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you win an inch, but I can't do Vin Diesel. That dude's just fucking weird.
So real quick, sidebar. Do you know how much he got paid to do the voice of Groot?
Tell me.
$54 million.
What?
That's insane. But
good for Vin Diesel.
Voice actor. For Disney. Anybody. If you want to use my voice,
I'll do it for 90% less. I'll do it for 90% less.
than Vin Diesel.
Disney, if you're looking to make an animated Crypt Keeper show, we got the perfect guy for you.
Anyway, Carson Wentz next year comes out, has a good statistical season. Okay,
Gets hurt again.
Big Dick Nick comes in, almost takes him back to the show. Okay, you get rid of Nick Foles because you're stupid. Okay, but whatever. And Carson Wentz comes out. He has another good season. Philly doesn't
get you anywhere.
Well, I think they still got into the playoffs, but they didn't do anything. Okay, and now Carson Wentz basically looks like he has no fucking idea how to play football. He's playing scared. He
got benched and replaced by Jalen Hurts,
who I think at this point in his career is better.
18 months ago, they thought he should not try and play quarterback going into the draft, which is why he went to Oklahoma to prove how well of a quarterback he was.
I would have a question, though. What's worse? Is it worse to get benched for Jalen Hurts, or is it worse for Jalen Hurts to get benched for Nate Sudfeld?
Look, we're not even going to talk about that because, that's just stupid. I don't know. They were still in the game. What are you doing? Anyway, whatever. Supposedly there were some people on the sidelines that wanted to fight Doug Peterson.
I don't doubt it.
There were some reports. I was watching the Pat McAfee show. Shout out Pat McAfee.
For the brand.
Yeah.
Hey, so listen, I'm gonna go with Odell Beckham Jr.
Okay.
This year, I think Odell still has good seasons in him. I think that guy won me 3 fantasy leagues in 2014 in his rookie season when he came in after his 4 games of being hurt and just ripped off 12 just nasty ass games. And he was the first player I drafted for whenever I took the Browns in our fantasy Madden league. I think Odell's a good player, and the Browns might be better without him, but there's some teams out there that could use a real number 1 receiver, i.e. the Dallas Cowboys.
Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, but I would go with Odell, man. I'm more disappointed because I'd like to see that guy on the field making catches, especially in this offense. The offense looks pretty good.
I am going to go with Dwayne Haskins.
Oh yeah,
out of the Washington football team.
Yeah, free agent Dwayne Haskins.
Yep. There was a lot of friction when he got drafted by the Washington football team. The prior head coach did not want to draft him. Ownership wanted him and forced him on the coach. Ended up, the coach gets fired. New coach comes in, clean slate supposedly, and it just never gelled. Something was wrong. And so Haskins gets benched multiple times. And when we get towards the end of the season, Alex Smith comes in and saves the day. Then he gets a calf injury. And once again, the team asks Haskins, listen, if you want to be a quarterback in this league, this is your moment. All you got to do is go out in week 15 and win that game, and we're in the playoffs. Most important game of his career, literally. It's in your hands. And this dude goes to a maskless stripper party in the middle of the week. His head coach is fighting cancer.
Yeah.
And there's a pandemic.
And dealing with a goddamn racist owner.
Yeah, and then he goes out and has
allegedly.
Allegedly. And then he goes out there and just has a subpar performance. Gets yanked again. And they lose. And they have to go and win because the Philadelphia Eagles threw the game. And then they cut Haskins immediately after, the Tuesday after the game that they lost. I can't believe that the millions of dollars and you just whatever the situation was, I don't know exactly because I'm not in the know. But Dwayne Haskins is by far the most disappointing player for me this season.
I think it's a good choice.
The Washington team.
All right. Yeah, the Washington football team.
Yes.
All right, so that's kind of our year-end award recap there. So we're ready to get into this playoff bracket. So we've already identified that we did miss 3 teams. We got 3 teams incorrect. So we thought the 49ers, Texans, and Cowboys would be there. Instead, it's the Colts, the Bears, and
we also had the Vikings in as well.
All right, well maybe we weren't as good as we thought. Let's just fuck all that shit. Let's just let's call out these first couple of rounds here and let's get going. Let's start with the NFC.
Go for it. All right, so Packers get a bye.
Yep.
This year's a little different. There's an extra team. There's only 1 team from each conference getting a bye week. So Packers get the bye week in the first round. And our first matchup is going to be the Chicago Bears at the New Orleans Saints.
So this would be the 2 versus
7
7
seed Bears finished 8-8. Yep, they finished 8-8. Saints finished 12-4.
I think you give it Saints. I think this is easy Saints.
Yeah, I don't think you overthink this. As long as the Bears have Mitch Trubisky at quarterback, they're not winning playoff games.
I think even if somehow Drew Brees re-injures himself and they got to throw Taysom Hill back in there, I think he's good enough to beat the Browns. I mean the Bears. Sorry.
Yeah, I think it goes off the coach too. I mean, if you look
Sean
at
Payton,
versus Matt Nagy, I mean, I don't think it's a debate.
No, easy.
Saints.
All right, Saints in a sweep. All right, then we have the 10-6 Rams, the 6 seed, versus the
quiet
12-6
for me.
Yeah, 12-4 3 seed Seattle, who we had winning the Super Bowl in our preseason bracket.
I mean, this is a tough matchup because it's a division game, right? So, in most cases, like everybody builds your team to win your division. So,
Correct.
You know, it's already, regardless of which team you think is better than the other one, you already know this is going to be a very close game. The Rams did have the best defense in the league this year. They have a nasty defense. Goff is supposed to play with a bum thumb.
Joining in?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. I think. Look, Seattle certainly is not putting the Legion of Boom out there on the defense or on the field anymore. Their defense is very suspect. But Russell Wilson had an MVP season for about half the year before he kind of faded a little bit. I have a hard time going against Seattle here.
I agree. I don't know. I wasn't high on the Seahawks when we did this originally.
Go ahead and say you're wrong, Dave.
No, I mean, look, I was wrong on that, but I also think that the Seahawks are not. When you come into the playoffs, you need to be coming in really strong, and I don't think they are.
So they have problems at running back. Like they don't have any healthy running backs.
So I think this is. I think this is still a victory for the Seahawks because Jared Goff is just not. He's already suspect to me at quarterback, but if he's playing injured, then you give it to.
I feel like if we had Goff at 100%, this would be more of a conversation because their defense is that good.
Yeah.
I think Russell Wilson is gonna do enough to get there. I mean, I think this is a 17-14 game. I mean, this is not a high scoring game.
Okay. We had I think we had the Rams as a bubble team on the out in the preseason bracket. And we had Seattle going to the Super Bowl even without a proper running game. Metcalf is a monster.
Yeah, he is. I was wrong about that one coming out of the draft.
Wilson. Oh, so was I. Russell Wilson is having a strong season, and I definitely think Seattle beats the Rams in the first.
Okay, what's next?
We have
so far it's chalk here.
Yeah, the 11-5 Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 5 seed, on the road to powerhouse What the fuck? Washington football team, the 4 seed with a 7-9 strong record.
It's this is not even a discussion. This is not even a discussion. It's Tom Brady. Sorry, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
To Dave's point, like they're coming in as probably the second hottest team in the league right now.
Yes,
coming into the playoffs. I mean, they're ripping off 40-point games like for the last 3 weeks, I believe. So I mean, they're peaking at the right time.
Yeah, and I mean they look good on both sides of the ball. Like I don't know if Tom Brady has had this many skill set like players or receivers to throw to like ever in his career. And that dude does not look like he is as old as he fucking
43.
is. Yeah.
And dude, I'm scared to death. I'm scared to death for Alex Smith. Fucking Ndamukong Suh over here is having another good season. Like that guy's an animal.
Like
he might break Alex Smith's other leg.
I am going to go with a Tampa Bay Bucks sweep, but the Washington football team is a very different looking team with Alex Smith. I don't know why it took them so long to put him back as a starter. I can only assume that they were definitely afraid that leg would just fall apart.
Yeah. I tell you what, though,
I think this is going to be a close game. I think Washington is going to be very competitive in this playoff game.
No, I don't think so.
Because of Alex Smith.
Hey, look, here's what I do know is I'm glad that Chase Young is in your division and not in mine because that guy's a fucking animal.
He is.
Yeah.
So good luck with that. Tampa Bay with the upset.
Yeah, on to the second round. We have the Packers are now in the playoffs, 13-3. They are going to be hosting the very same Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the 5th seed.
Now this is a fucking
in Lambeau. Game. I don't know, man. When you get guys that get acclimated to that South Florida tropical setting, and then you go send them to Lambeau in January.
Yep.
You know,
it's tough.
I mean, look,
you know who's used to playing in the cold though?
Green Bay.
Well, yes, but Tom Brady also can do it too.
Yeah, but look, there was that old stat the year John Gruden took over Tampa Bay that they hadn't won a fucking game in sub 40-degree weather in I forget how many seasons. Dude, like Tampa Bay does not play well in cold weather games.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, your body gets used to it.
That's
it's the same. It'd be the same thing as if the playoffs were held in August, and the Packers had to go down to South Florida and play.
Yeah.
Look, the advantage goes to the Bucks.
If y'all want to, if that's fine. If y'all want to use the weather to determine your pick, that's cool.
That's not you about your life, huh? You're all Tampa Bay, huh?
Hey, look, dude, Tom Brady's only one guy.
That's true, but look, like we talked about.
Dave. Go ahead, put the dick on the table.
Tampa Bay is hot as shit right now. That offense looks fucking damn near unstoppable. And
what's Green Bay? Is Green Bay garbage?
Well, does their offense play defense? I don't understand. I don't understand your analogy there.
Rodgers throws 48 touchdowns this season. That's 8 more than Tom Brady.
That's fine, right? But
to way less of a quality receiving core, by the way.
Sure.
Yeah,
I am not saying that Aaron Rodgers is a shit. I picked him to be fucking MVP.
I feel like
that's good because I'm going to pick him to beat Tampa Bay this week.
Okay, that's fine. All right, I'm picking
Dave,
Tampa Bay.
Are you taking Tampa Bay?
Yes.
All right, I am going to take the Packers. I think they're going to decimate the Bucs.
Decimate is a strong word.
I think Brady will show up, but as soon as one of those receivers have to try and catch a pass in 10-degree weather, they'll be like, you know what? I'm not about this life.
Man, I hope.
Then I think it'll just steamroll.
God, I hope Tampa Bay fucking destroys the Packers. It's gonna be so good because the Packers are gonna be they're gonna be all chilling. They're not gonna be used to playing football because they're gonna have that bye week, and Tampa's gonna be red fucking hot. They're gonna be like, I don't give a shit about the cold. Tom Brady's gonna give the fucking locker room speech of his goddamn life.
They're gonna make a movie about it in 10 years,
dude. I mean, I'm just telling you.
We'll see.
Right.
I'm just telling you.
Hey, look, man. Hey, look. I hope so. That way you can come back and you can tell us how wrong we were.
All right.
It'll
So
All right.
that means this other one is a good one too.
We have the Saints hosting Seattle.
Dude, they've had some fucking good playoff
yeah.
games.
Yeah, the Saints are going to be 12-4. Seattle 12-4.
I think it all hitches on Drew Brees' health. Like, I mean, I have a feeling y'all are going to go with Seattle, but I'm just going to. Saints are at home.
Yeah.
I'm just going to give them the edge because I think this is literally a coin flip, and I'm just going to give it to the home team. Honestly.
Did you hear? I believe that if I heard this right, did the Saints try to create a quarantine situation for their fan base to try and pack the Superdome?
That'd be awesome.
Or did I read?
I don't know.
But anyway,
I didn't hear that.
I think it was a rumor I heard.
I mean,
yeah, he wanted to try and quarantine like 50,000 fans.
Either way, let's focus. What are we?
Okay.
Who are we picking?
Look,
who are you picking? Dave?
I said I'm picking Saints.
Okay.
Seattle is not fielding the greatest defense of all time anymore. Nope. And I don't think their offense is as good as the Saints, and the Saints have at least a middle-of-the-road defense. So I'd pick the Saints here at home.
All right. I want to pick Seattle, but for the reasons that you're saying, like they just don't have the same defense that they've had in the past, and they just don't have the running backs that are healthy to carry the load. And I agree with you guys. I think the Saints win.
The only equalizer here is Bobby Wagner. Bobby Wagner is still an all-pro fucking middle linebacker. So can he keep up with Alvin Kamara? Because, I mean, this is Kamara's best season by a mile. I think Kamara's elevating, and I think Bobby Wagner is probably as good as he has been, but I think Kamara maybe has moved past him.
If for some reason Drew Brees is injured in the previous game, but they still make it on, and it's Taysom Hill, then I would amend this pick to Seattle.
That's when they're going to decide to start Jameis Winston.
Let him air it out.
Hey, so just to throw this out here, do we think that Jameis Winston is on the Saints next year, or are they going to trade that guy, or is Drew Brees done after the season?
Drew Brees is done.
Drew Brees still there.
Yeah, he's done. He's already done? Doesn't he already have an announcing deal that he signed in April?
I mean, he's gonna be able to announce the second he leaves.
Well, yeah. I'm just saying, like, the dude has like his entire fucking rib cage is like decimated.
I mean, I don't know how many ribs you had, but he broke 9 of them.
Look, if they win the Super Bowl, I think he certainly retires.
Oh, absolutely.
I think he's done either way. I mean, he doesn't have anything left to prove. The dude's broken.
If he's
a million stats.
If he's done, then I think you keep Jameis around to look at him next year. If he's still there next year, I think you trade him and get some draft capital back.
I agree. I think a year under Brees,
Sean Payton,
and the coaching staff there, Sean Payton can do nothing but help. Jameis Winston.
So what's next?
All right, so do we want to? All right, so we have the Packers hosting the NFC Championship against the Saints.
I think
number 1 versus number 2.
I think even at this, by this time, I think Drew Brees' injuries are going to start creeping back up a little bit because he's going to be getting beaten up in some of these games. And
it's a dome team traveling to cold weather.
Yeah, I think you got to go with the Packers here. Even though I didn't pick them in the previous round, I think if they're here, they're going.
So take the Packers.
I agree with you, Dave.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yep.
Yeah,
I think we're putting the Packers in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the question marks around Drew Brees are what keeps him from going to the Super Bowl.
Just for curiosity's sake, if for some reason the Bucks find themselves here, if they would have beaten the previous, I'm just curious how you guys would have voted.
So this would be Bucks.
The Saints.
Bucks. Saints.
I think the Saints beat them twice this year, and it's really hard to beat a team 3 times. So I'd probably go Tampa Bay.
Same.
Okay, just
I think you're on artificial turf in the Superdome. I think that would actually be more advantageous to the Bucks.
Yeah.
okay.
Than having them travel to Green Bay.
I think it's just interesting to talk about. So, like, basically, the Packers-Bucks game is the ticket to the Super Bowl based on what we're saying.
I agree.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. Watch the Rams beat the Seattle.
I know. Watch the. It's like not even going to be any of those teams. All right.
We're not even going to be close.
AFC.
Right, so
let's go.
AFC. The Chiefs are the number 1 seed at 14-2.
No surprise.
They will get the first round bye. So
Shocking.
Your first matchup will be the number 2 seed, surprise team of the NFL, the Bills, 13-3, hosting the Indianapolis Colts at 11-5, the number 7 seed.
I'm coming in quick here. The fucking Bills are gonna house the Colts.
Yep.
This will be the biggest blowout of the weekend.
Yep. I'm going Bills.
How many interceptions does Rivers throw? Over under 2.
And I think Rivers retires after the season.
I think he's gonna have to retire after he gets fucking destroyed.
No, but in all seriousness,
look, I'm biased because I hate the fucking Colts, but dude, the Bills are goddamn they're the hottest team in the NFL right now coming into the playoffs. To Dave's point earlier, there's nobody hotter.
Yeah.
I think they are going to dismantle the Colts, and I'm gonna love every goddamn.
The Bills are great on both sides of the ball, and yeah, like this is, if any other, in previous seasons they would have had a bye and they would have been resting and ready to trounce whoever came into the second round.
Yep.
So, yeah, easy Bills.
I agree. I think, unfortunately for the Colts, whenever they rely on Rivers to carry the team, it's a nightmare.
Let me ask you guys a question.
To throw it like 25 or 30 times a game. Yeah.
Do you know who had the third highest rushing total this year?
Who's that?
That would be the guy that the Colts drafted in the first round this year, the running back.
Oh, I sound like
Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jonathan Taylor. He had 1,169 yards. That was the number 3 rusher this year.
That's crazy that Derrick Henry outdid him almost by double.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's become he had Dalvin in the middle at 1,500 yards.
It's become a passing league.
Yeah. What's next?
All right, so we got the Bills advancing, and we go to the number 3 seed Steelers at 12-4, hosting the surprise team of the year, the 6th seed at 11-5, the Cleveland Browns. I think this one's easy.
Yep.
I think when you go into a playoff game that you haven't been to in 18 years, and
you've already celebrated your victory.
Time to get COVID. Yeah, and your head coach decides it's a great time to get COVID. 2 assistants have COVID. 2 players have COVID. I think this is going to just be a disaster for the Browns.
Okay, question.
It's a wasted season.
I understand that y'all are probably going to go Steelers, and I'm going to go Steelers right now as well if this game is actually played on Sunday. If for some reason this game
has to be.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be one way or the other.
Okay. I'm just for theoretical sake, because this is the craziest fucking season ever. If for some reason they postpone this game, okay?
Which they won't. But if they do.
And everybody's able to play for the Cleveland Browns, are you still picking the Steelers?
Yes.
I would not. I would pick
I think the fact that they got to the playoffs is about all you can expect from a young team.
I don't think the Steelers have been actually playing like lights fucking out football this back half of the season.
Yeah. They're limping into the playoffs.
Yeah.
I agree.
So I think it's the opposite. I mean, I think the Browns are actually looking good.
Well, I would counter that to two things. One, the Steelers turned what their season would be around in the second half against the Colts in Week 15, and then played, in their mind, a meaningless game against the Cleveland Browns, in which they gave them nothing. And still the Cleveland Browns beat them, but not convincingly.
Sure.
I would still pick the Steelers.
I pick the Steelers here as well, but spoiler alert, I am not picking them to make it to the Super Bowl.
It's a defense. It's a division game. Well, again, we know these are always going to be tough. The Pittsburgh Steelers have been big brother to the Cleveland Browns for a long time. I think Cleveland's going to come out and win one for the Gipper. I think they're going to win one for their head coach that's stuck at home watching this game on TV. I'm going to take Cleveland.
Wow.
I really want to
waffle, Dave. Go ahead, Dave. Come on, put your dick on the table.
Dave, they're still putting the second best defensive player out on the field, right? And Myles Garrett behind TJ over there. They're going to have Baker. They're going to have Landry.
Chubb.
I mean, they're going to have their full complement of offensive players.
Is Nick Chubb playing?
Chubb's playing.
Okay.
And Kareem.
I would say, to counter what Josh is spilling, yes, this has been a good season for Baker Mayfield, but he's still a gunslinger.
I'm going to say this.
Baker Mayfield.
I'm going to say this because I thought about this. I think if they can make it out of the first round past the Steelers and get over that fucking mental barrier, which I think the Steelers represent, then I think anything could happen for them. Just lost the camera.
Yeah, Josh there he is. He's back. But anyway, so Dave.
Yeah.
Who are you going with?
I said all that. I said all that, but I'm going Steelers.
Ah, you pussy.
Look, man, I just don't think
when the Browns win, I'm gonna be eating that up.
Look, dude, if they win, that's great, but I don't know who's calling plays. Like their OC, I guess.
Stefanski from home, bro.
I don't think they're gonna allow that.
I don't know if they're gonna allow that.
Okay.
All right. So, next game. The Tennessee Titans at number 4 with 11-5 record versus the number 5 Ravens at 11-5 as well. This game will be in Tennessee.
Ravens.
Wow, quick. Really?
Yeah, man.
I'm going Titans.
Look, I'm going to say what I said at the beginning of this year.
You said your boy Lamar, Offensive Player of the Year, man.
Yep, which has kind of happened this season. Like, the Ravens are not as good as they were last year because teams game planned, and took away what they were trying to do, which was run 50 times a game. And, of course, the Ravens promptly went out like last week and ran it 50 times. But I think the worst team for the Ravens to try and beat would be the Titans.
Yes.
They can play keep away.
Yep.
So I'm going to go with the Titans in this game.
Look, the Baltimore Ravens are still a top 10 defense this year, and Tennessee's defense is garbage. Their defense is not good.
But you can't score points if you don't have the ball.
Absolutely.
Okay, but I mean, look, Derrick Henry is nice to have when you're in the lead. If Baltimore comes out and they go up by 10-14 early, that's a different game.
I completely agree. That is the reason why I won my playoff game. I mean, I won my Super Bowl in the fantasy.
And Derrick Henry doesn't catch a lot of passes, so
I agree. But I feel like this is the game in which Tennessee is going to out Baltimore the Ravens.
I'm taking Baltimore.
All right, Dave, you said Titans.
I am going Titans. It hurts because I hate the Titans, but dude, I think they're just gonna feed. I think they're gonna feed Derrick Henry like fucking 40 times this game. Not literally, but
Hollywood Brown showing up last couple weeks, man. Big play right over the top. Baltimore starts off 7-0. It's a different game.
Okay. Well, we'll have to revisit that. All right. So next round, Chiefs are back in the playoffs. They are going to be hosting
Chiefs.
the Tennessee Titans.
Chiefs.
Yeah, this is where the road ends. And this is exactly what Josh just said. Chiefs can score at will, and they will jump out fast and nullify Derrick Henry. And as soon as you put the ball game in Tannehill's hands, it's game over.
I will say this. Let me just.
You better hope the Chiefs jump out early.
That's I do want to. For the same reasons I picked. Hold up. For the same reasons I picked the Titans in this previous matchup. I will say I think the Chiefs are going to win, but the worst team the Chiefs can face, like how this is working out, would be the Titans.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep.
Because the Chiefs can and have notoriously started off slow as shit, like in the past, right? They have fucking.
They came from behind in every playoff game last year.
Yeah. So I mean, if the Titans can stick to the game plan, and if the Chiefs cannot stop Derrick Henry, like if he's just able to run at will, luckily the Titans have a shit defense. Luckily for the Chiefs, that is. But look, if it's any given Sunday, if the Titans defense decides, you know what, this is our game where we're gonna fucking actually learn how to play, then yeah, it could be an interesting game. But I still think, I mean, look, you can't really bet against Pat Mahomes, at least not on the Titans. So
Chiefs.
It's Chiefs.
Yeah, Chiefs. I think it plays out exactly like we've said.
I think the first half is very interesting.
Perfectly.
I think the first half will be an interesting game. It'll be fun to watch because it'll be close. And then the second half, I don't think it's going to be close at all.
All right, so this is the big matchup. Number 2, Bills hosting the number 3 Steelers. Steelers are 12-4. Bills are 13-3.
I think the Bills are just a better team at this point. Like,
here's my question: Does the Pittsburgh Steelers that we saw the first 10 games of the season finally come back?
No.
Or is the second half of the season who the Steelers were all along? And that's the thing that I can't put my finger on. Like, I don't really know what the fuck happened to Pittsburgh after they started out 10-0 or 11-0 or whatever the hell the number was.
Yeah.
I think the Bills roll hard here.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be a low-scoring, defensive, ugly game. Dave, you got the Bills?
Yep.
Josh?
Bills.
I'm going to take the... Dang it.
I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean...
I know it's going to be the Bills advancing, but you know what? I'm going to take the Steelers because that's who we picked in the beginning of the season, and they're going to win one for the Gipper.
Hey man, look, they made a good run. I mean, I don't think we were super wrong here, but
I just don't know what happened. I really just don't know what happened after that 10-0 start. Like if they became overconfident or I don't know, overthought it, made it more complicated than they needed. I don't know. But in the AFC Championship game, we have the Chiefs hosting the Bills in what most likely will be a very chilly day at Arrowhead.
Good thing is both of these guys are cold. They're cold weather teams.
Absolutely.
I think the Bills are built better for cold weather. I think Josh Allen can run more than Pat Mahomes, and I don't think speed usually plays the same benefit when it comes to some of these cold weather games. So I would take the Bills here in an upset.
Oh, Josh. You and me are on the same page, Josh.
I'm also going Bills.
I think they're better suited in what could be like an ugly game because of weather.
Yeah, I think this is the Bills' time.
I think it's a magic Cinderella season for the Buffalo Bills.
And I think Josh Allen will get Super Bowl MVP prediction. Well, that's a spoiler, but you know.
I guess you're saying that they're going to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think so.
He's going to be the first losing player to win the MVP award.
No,
Look, here's what I think.
Packers versus Bills.
Look,
Super
Buffalo.
Bowl, 13-3.
I feel like Buffalo learned something last year, right? Whenever they let the Houston Texans come back and beat them in the first round of the playoffs, and make no mistake, I know that was heartbreaking. One of my good friends that I worked with, he was from Buffalo. He moved back to Buffalo since then, and I had a very good FaceTime call with him right after Deshaun Watson put the dagger in the Buffalo Bills' heart last year, and he was not happy that I made that phone call to him. He's going to be a lot happier with our predictions here. So I know, look, that hurt. That was a killer. That was the same thing as us going up 24-0 on Kansas City. And then
I thought that was I thought we were going to the Super Bowl.
I said the words out loud. I can't believe it. We're gonna go to the Super Bowl. I said it out loud before halftime.
You should have slapped yourself. Okay, so where is the Super Bowl being played this year?
Miami.
Okay. Hard Rock Stadium?
Yeah.
All right.
I mean,
There's
assuming that's the same thing.
Yeah. There's no inherent advantage for either team. It's it's not artificial turf or whatever, but it's that synthetic grass shit that they have.
Look, I think this is an awesome fucking game, dude.
Yeah. So do I. You have the more physical team, I think, in the Bills as far as their offense, and the more explosive team in the Packers as far as the passing game.
Look, Buffalo's defense, like Josh Allen's having a great year. Diggs, I mean, number one receiver in the league this year. I think their offense is getting a lot of pub, but man, they have some fucking studs on defense over there. Like their secondary is good. They still got Ed Oliver up at the front. I'm blanking on their middle linebacker's name, but the kid they drafted
Oliver
last year
not get enough talked about.
No,
he does not get talked about enough.
Their defense is nice, but God, dude, it's Aaron Rodgers, and it's Aaron Rodgers with a little chip on his shoulder.
Look, I feel like this is going to go 2-1 in the favor of Packers, but I'm just going to go ahead and come out and just put my nuts out there for Buffalo.
This would be their first Super Bowl win?
Yeah, and their fifth attempt, right?
Fifth attempt. Yeah, they went 0-4 going 4 consecutive years.
Yeah.
I'm
Marv Levy still alive?
I don't know. I don't want to say one way or the other. I think he is.
I feel like you'd have to bring him to that game.
I don't know. I just think it's more fun to pick the Buffalo Bills here. So I'm picking the Buffalo Bills.
Let's see.
And I don't think it's a throwaway pick. I don't know.
No. Points allowed per game. Green Bay 23.1. Buffalo 23.4. Like this is going to be a close game.
It just comes down to like who do you trust on the last drive?
And which team, and like this is like a question, and I'm not just going to bring this up because I'm a Cowboys fan, but this is reminiscent of like the Cowboys' first Super Bowl. Very young, going in against an experienced quarterback and a high octane offense. Are they ready to step up, or are they going to fold under the pressure because they're too young?
Well, something to keep in mind. Because I know we all know Aaron Rodgers' accolades. Josh just asked the question: who do you trust with the game on the line? Okay, in his career, short career, Josh Allen. This is only his third year. Okay, he's already had 8 comebacks and 11 game-winning drives in his career.
Look at you, Dave.
So
Look at you.
I'm just
Did
saying.
you look up Aaron Rodgers stats in that same thing in that time frame?
I mean, look, we can look up. Oh, if you want to just go his time frame, same. Sure, let's look it up real quick.
Let's go the last 3 years.
So,
I mean, look, Aaron Rodgers he's arguably what a top. Some people would say top 10 quarterback of all time. I mean,
so in the last 3 years, Aaron Rodgers has had 8 game-winning drives and 6 fourth quarter comebacks.
So the same game-winning drive number 8.
No,
no, 3 less.
3 less.
Okay.
And
that's
less comebacks.
But that's because Green Bay was probably already winning those games anyway because he's a better quarterback.
I'm not saying Josh Allen is a better quarterback.
No, I'm just fucking with you.
Hey,
God damn, dude, I don't know, man. Look, before I sat down today, I said Bills all the way to the Super Bowl.
But
And I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna say Bills.
Bills. Okay, so we got 1 for Bills. What do you got, Dave?
well, I already said Bills.
Okay, well then I guess the Bills are winning the Super Bowl. I am also going to pick the Bills. I think this team is a very young team that I think they're a little too naive to fold under the pressure of the bright lights. I think it might be different if we were talking about a packed Hard Rock Stadium, if that's where the Super Bowl is being played. But it's not. And I think the Bills are just crazy enough to pull it off. But I think it's going to be a great Super Bowl. So there we go.
Wow.
I just told my buddy in Buffalo that that's what we predicted. So I'm waiting to see what he says here.
And then the Bills are going to get rocked out of the first round.
I know, dude. Fucking Colts are gonna roll them.
Fucking Phillip Rivers is going to have the game of his goddamn life.
I text him
5 touchdowns.
And then I'll just come on here and I'll delete this video.
He said, "Oh, dude, I would cry like a little bitch."
That's funny.
Yeah,
Oh.
I texted him the other day. Let's see, where did it go? I said, "You better beat that fucking ass by 50." And he says he hopes so. And I said, "Cut that hope shit."
Yeah.
And I sent him the fucking gif of the fucking guy from Star Wars. I can't remember who he is now, but it says, "Wipe them all out. Wipe them all out."
All right. Well,
You're
guys,
talking about Admiral
Emperor
Akbar?
Palpatine.
Oh, okay.
Nah, Emperor Palpatine.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Wipe
I
them
think
out.
we've
all of them.
I think we have successfully completed another podcast.
Awesome.
Question is, did we successfully predict the Super Bowl? We'll see.
I don't know, man, but I think the playoffs this year, especially on the AFC side, are all going to be good games,
Yeah.
except for hopefully, the Colts getting blown out by 50.
Yeah.
That's right.
Are we done?
We're done. All right,
done.
guys.
Anything else?
That's it. Take it easy, everybody.
Fuck out of here.